Right now, without realizing it, you might be participating in a system that quietly transfers wealth, just not in your direction. It doesn't feel obvious. There's no warning, no alert on your phone saying, hey, you're falling behind. But over time, something strange happens. You keep working, you keep earning, and yet real financial progress feels just out of reach. So what's actually going on? Over the past few years, I've spent a lot of time breaking down how financially successful people actually manage money. Not the flashy lifestyle you see online, not the cars or vacations, but the underlying system they rely on every single day. And here's the surprising part. It's not secret. It's not reserved for millionaires, and it's definitely not complicated. It's just rarely explained. The two financial realities. Most people operate inside one financial pattern their entire lives. It looks like this. You trade your time for income. You receive that income, and then you distribute it across your life. Bills, rent, food, lifestyle. On paper, it works. Let's say you earn a solid income every year. That should mean progress, right? But once you factor in taxes, daily expenses, and lifestyle upgrades, something interesting happens. There's very little left. And then the cycle repeats, again and again and again. This creates what feels like movement, but in reality, it's more like running in place. Effort is high, progress is minimal. Alternative approach. Now there's a different way of operating financially, and this is where things start to change. Instead of money flowing through your life and disappearing, it gets redirected into a system that builds momentum over time. Think of it like this. Instead of being the final destination, your income becomes the starting point of a process. This process has three simple phases. Phase 1, controlled entry. Money comes in, but instead of immediately being used, a portion of it is separated first. Not what's left over, not what you try to save. A fixed portion, decided in advance, is redirected before anything else happens. This is the key shift. Because for most people, spending happens automatically, while saving requires effort. Here, it's the opposite. Growth allocation. That separated portion isn't just sitting idle. It's placed into assets designed to grow over time. This could be broad market investments, long-term funds, business reinvestment, income-generating assets. The specific vehicle matters less than one thing. It must have the ability to produce returns. Now here's where it gets interesting. When your money starts generating returns, something changes. You're no longer relying only on effort. You've introduced leverage. Reinforcement loop. This is the part most people overlook. The returns generated don't get spent. They get fed back into the same system, which means next time you're not earning returns on your original amount. You're earning returns on a larger base. And then it happens again and again and again. Over time, this creates a compounding effect where growth starts accelerating, not because you're working harder, but because the system is doing more work for you. Time changes everything. At first, the progress feels slow, almost invisible. But as time passes, something shifts. The system gains momentum. Eventually, the growth produced by your assets can begin to rival or even exceed the income you actively earn. And that's the turning point. Because now your financial stability is no longer tied directly to your time. But I don't earn enough. This is the most common thought, and it's completely understandable. But this system isn't built on large amounts. It's built on consistency. Even a small percentage applied regularly over time can create significant results. The difference isn't how much you start with, it's whether the system exists at all. Because without a system, money tends to disappear. With a system, money starts to build. How most people never do this? If this approach is so effective, why doesn't everyone follow it? Because the default environment encourages the opposite behavior. You're constantly encouraged to spend now, upgrade your lifestyle, finance purchases, stay dependent on active income. Entire industries benefit when money flows out quickly instead of being retained and grown. So, unless you intentionally design a different system, you end up following the default one. How to start? Simple framework. If you want to shift, you don't need complexity. You just need a starting structure. 1. Observe your flow. Track where your money actually goes for a short period. Awareness alone changes behavior. 2. Define a percentage. Choose a realistic portion of your income, something consistent. 3. Automate the process. Remove decision-making. Set it up once so it happens without effort. 4. Stay consistent. Ignore short-term noise. The real impact comes from time, not timing. The bigger picture. At first, it won't feel life-changing, but slowly something begins to shift. You stop relying only on effort. You start building something that operates in the background. And one day, you'll notice your money isn't just sitting there anymore. It's working. Final thought. There isn't some hidden rule book that only a few people have access to. There's just a difference in systems. One consumes income, the other multiplies it. The real question isn't whether this works, it's whether you'll actually implement it. Because once you do, everything starts to change.